Hi there, this is Annelies for BrokerFish.com. I'm going to explain to you today what international health insurance actually is. I've got a really simple definition up here. It's designed to cover the costs of private medical treatment for expats abroad. So that is for anything that happens after you've taken the policy out. Any pre-existing conditions won't be covered, but anything that happens in the future will. Now I'd like to meet John. He is a painter decorator and he's actually from the UK, so that is his real home. But John's just moved to Canada, so that's his new home, and that makes him an expat. Now, because he's an expat, he's eligible for international health insurance, and that counts for all nationalities. Sometimes there are age restrictions, some people cap it at 64, other policies will go up to 120 years old, so it's worth checking that out. Now, why would someone like John want international health insurance? Well, there are several reasons, but imagine he takes out one of these policies and then he gets a problem with his shoulder. So he's got a bad shoulder there, and he needs an operation. Now, the main reason he's got this policy is for peace of mind. I'm going to draw a nice peace sign by his mind, because he's very peaceful now that he's got this out. He's happy because he's going to receive private medical care and his costs will be covered for that. So even though he's in pain, he's a little bit happy too. So treatment will always be private, so he's getting the best possible treatment, and he's reduced his risk, his financial risk, by taking out this policy. Now, another really important feature of international health insurance is that it covers you worldwide. So John here is now covered for when he's living in Canada. He's also covered for when he goes back to the UK, and he might go back a few months at a time. He's also covered for when he travels around the world, maybe on holiday. So wherever he is, he's covered for his health by that policy. So it's worldwide. Now, another thing is that he gets a lifelong renewal. Now, I'm going to explain this in this way. He's future-proofing his healthcare, because say that he was in Canada and he just got a normal health policy out, and then he got ill, say he got cancer, something serious, and the policy covered all the costs, that's fine, he recovers, and then he decides he's going to go back to the UK. Well, now he needs a new policy. He needs one for the UK, but he might find he's uninsurable because he's on a risk list. So if he had got out the international health insurance, he actually would have found that he could renew that at any time, regardless of whether he's had an illness or not. So really, it's future-proofing. That's a long word. Future-proofing his healthcare, which is brilliant. Okay. So those are the features, some of the features that you get. Now, each policy will come with benefits. Benefits are the things that you actually pay for, the different kind of topics in that policy. I'll just quickly run through them here, but inpatient means, okay, say he's had his operation and he needs to recover in hospital, that overnight stay has got costs involved, so that's going to be covered with his inpatient benefit. Outpatient means, for example, after he's left the hospital, he'll have to go back for checkups to see his shoulder's okay, maybe do some physiotherapy. That's outpatient. Maternity. Now, obviously, John's a bloke, he's not going to need any maternity benefits. The great thing about international health insurance is that it's flexible. So he can pick and choose which benefits actually are applicable to him. So he's going to say, no, I'm not paying for maternity. And that's another really key feature. Flexibility. And I actually forgot to mention a really important one here, is that because it's worldwide, you've got this network of hospitals and doctors around the world that that your insurance policy company will work with. And because of that, quite often there's direct billing involved. It's really important, actually. This means that when he actually comes to have to pay for his operation, the hospital will be able to get the payment directly from the insurance company. So he will never actually have to pay out himself. That's really important. But back to the benefits. So we've got inpatient, outpatient, doesn't need maternity. Often there's dental and optical benefits involved as well, even to the level of them paying for your spectacles. well-being, there's regular checkups so that he might be able to avoid any issues in the future, vaccinations as well, and two really important ones for expats are evacuation and repatriation. Basically, evacuation means that if he gets ill in Canada and the particular treatment that he needs, like say it's that same shoulder operation, is much, there's a much better sort of infrastructure for that in the USA, then he can get evacuated to actually retrieve that treatment, receive that treatment there. But, and this is the one thing about the USA, even though it's a worldwide policy, some companies will not cover the USA or some policies won't, because specifically there, the cost of private medical treatment is really high. So just bear that in mind when you're looking for your policy. And then there's repatriation, which means that say he does develop cancer out here and he wants to get treatment near his family, which is understandable, the cost of repatriation back to the UK will also be covered by his policy, and then long-term care costs as well. So these are all the benefits that are usually in an international health insurance policy, but how much of this you get, because each one branches into different specific things as well. How deeply you go into each one and how many, what the limits are on payouts and things like that, that can vary. And you'll find that companies will sometimes have a standard package, intermediate, and then comprehensive, like a sort of bronze, silver and gold. And some will just give you complete freedom to completely pick and choose your benefits, and it really varies. I would say typically a standard policy will cover you maybe for emergency treatment. So say John has a car accident, needs emergency treatment. A standard package will cover all that kind of stuff. Intermediate will often be emergency as well as non-emergency. So, he wants to get a skin rash checked out, something like that. And then obviously your comprehensive package will cover everything. That's often when the dental and optical benefits really come into play. So that's your different kind of levels of cover. Now the different factors on deciding how much you're going to pay. The main one is age. They're really going to look at your age to see, how much you're going to have to pay, but also your area of cover. So I mentioned the USA. If that isn't included, obviously it's going to cost less than if it is included in the worldwide policy. Gender is a factor as well, and there are several others. So how do you go about getting one of these policies? Well, you have three options. First one is you can go direct. Second one is you can go via an agent. And the third one is you can go with a broker. I wouldn't necessarily recommend going direct, because then you're going directly to the health insurance company. They're going to only give you their packages that they've got, and that's it. An agent at least will be able to compare different policies, but they'll usually only work with a few companies, so it's still a little bit limited. They will, however, take care of your admin, so any claims that you need to make, that kind of thing. Now, I would say go with a broker, because a broker basically is going to deal they're really going to do a good comparison of all the different policies out there. That's really important when you're looking for a good deal, right? Now, they're also going to take care of the admin type bits, but they also have an obligation to find exactly what's right for you. So you're getting a lot more service with a broker to find, and you're going to find a better deal. You might be wondering how they get paid. Well, they get their money they get commission basically for anyone that they can open a policy for directly from the health insurance company. And you won't be cheaper to go direct either, because these guys, the health insurance companies, give out the same quotes to brokers as they would to anyone going directly to them. So that's another thing. Really, the broker is the way to go. So, that's it really. Thanks to John, you now know what international health insurance is. But in a nutshell, it gives you peace of mind. Peace of mind that you will receive private medical treatment, that your costs for that will be covered, that you're future-proofing your health insurance with a lifelong renewal, and that you've got lots and lots of flexible options to really see what you want to pay for. And that is international health insurance.